And for more reaction now, we are joined by San Francisco Police Chief Bill Scott. Chief Scott, thanks so much for being with us tonight. I want to ask you first off, when you first heard today's verdicts, what was your immediate reaction?
Well, my immediate reaction was one of thoughts for Mr. Floyd's family. I mean, I think out of all of everything that's happened, we really have to go back to Mr. Floyd was a human being, a man with a child, a daughter, a family. And so that was my first reaction. It was, I think, justice for his family. And then secondly, it was justice for so many people over such a long period of time who feel that they didn't get justice. And I think that is why you're seeing such jubilation. And it crosses many, many lines. I mean, there are many people in this profession, including myself, that felt a sense that justice was served in this case.
As we talk more about that and people begin to digest today's guilty verdicts and process what they heard coming out of the courthouse there in Minneapolis, how do you think that this case will resonate or is resonating now across the country and around the world for so many people who saw what played out over the past year play out on with smartphones and video, and now that we got to today, this point that so many people are calling what may be a very transitional moment in our history? How do you think it's resonating?
You know, Julia, I totally agree with that. I think it is a transitional moment. This case caused a movement that we have never seen before in this country. And I think that energy that's behind this has touched us all, and hopefully in a positive way. And I think it is one of those moments that we have, that we can capture that energy and all move forward. I do think this is that moment.
I know you've thought a lot about this. You're someone who has dedicated your life to law enforcement, to serve and protect communities. What is your hope? What do you hope happens next? What is our next move?
Well, I can tell you for our city, you know, we have our own work cut out for us, and we have had our share of cases that have caused pain and hurt, and many families feel that they didn't get justice. And I think this was a moment for those families as well. And I want to acknowledge those families because not only acknowledge, but the commitment to move us forward. Hopefully, so we don't have another incident like this. So we don't have it in our city. We don't have it in any other city or in our nation. And that's the hope. And that's why I think the energy of what's going on here can help propel us forward to maybe realize that day where we see, if not none of these incidents, you know, very, very fewer of those, and particularly in terms of the disparities that we see with these incidents happening to African-American men and other men of color, that we fix that as well. I mean, that's the work that is cut out, you know, for us here in San Francisco, and I think in many other parts of the country. And this just reaffirms my commitment, and I think our department's commitment to try to fix our own problems, but also be a leader and help move this work forward.
Chief Scott, one more question before we let you go. There's been a lot of talk in Washington about police reform, but so far there really hasn't been a lot of action. As you look to our president and our elected leaders, what would you like to see happen?
Well, I think we're getting that from our president. And the first thing is leadership. You know, leaders lead. And people have to be brought together on both sides of the aisle for the good of the whole. And a lot of the thing with law enforcement, there's over 18,000 departments, and so much of police reform and changing police for the better rests with the local jurisdictions and the local electeds and the local constituency. But we all also have to be brought together. And I think our president and vice president are committed to that. I think our governor is committed to that in the state, and I know our mayor is committed to that because I've had many conversations. So our police commission, and I know that the people are committed to that. So if we can work in the same direction, not that we're always going to agree, but we have to keep moving forward. And I think we're going to get that leadership from our administration.
And just one more thing, one final thought. You call this, many people are calling this a transitional moment. So many young people, so many children have to process what happened here. As a parent, perhaps as a teacher, telling your students in class, What is the one message you would like young people and children to learn from this moment?
Well, I would like people to learn, particularly young people, that um, number one, there is a such thing as justice, and it doesn't always seem that way. And definitely for African American people in this country, men particularly, it hasn't seemed that way in its history. But we are moving forward, and I think we have to look at this from the lens of history. As I tell my son, things are better for you than they were for me. Things are better for me than they were for my parents, and things are definitely better for my parents than it was for their grandparents. So there is progress that's being made here, but we have so much more to do. And the young people, get engaged. So many young people were part of this movement, and that was, I think, for people like me, it was very encouraging, and it gave us all hope. And stay engaged, stay informed, stay engaged, and be a part of change.
That is a good message. Chief Scott with the San Francisco Police Department, thanks so much for your time tonight. We appreciate it.
Thank you all.